Now, tonight, we delve into the escalating conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where the M23 rebel group has seized the key city of Goma. The Congolese government, backed by UN reports, has accused Rwanda of arming and supporting M23, a claim Kigali has consistently denied. But with increasing reports of Rwandan troops allegedly crossing into DRC and Rwanda's own security concerns about the FDLR, the question remains, what is Rwanda's real role in this crisis? Tonight, we speak with Yolande Makolo, the Rwandan government spokesperson, to challenge Rwanda's denials and press for clarity. Yolande, good evening and many thanks for joining us on NTV tonight. Now, Rwanda has repeatedly denied backing M23. However, UN reports, eyewitness accounts, and even drone footage reportedly shows Rwandan troops operating in eastern DRC. So if Rwanda is not involved, why does so much evidence say otherwise?
Rwanda is involved in as far as we are defending ourselves and ensuring that the conflict in eastern DRC does not spill across over to our country. And we have had this defensive posture, heavy deployment along our western border because of a real threat from the DRC, not only of the fighting, of the government fighting its own people, that's the M23, but also the threat of the FDLR, genocidal militia, that is fighting alongside the government of the DRC, the government forces. This is a militia group that was involved in genocide here, and they have stated that they want to come back and finish the job. We cannot allow that. Right.
So, like you say, Rwanda justifies its actions in eastern DRC by citing the FDLR threat, a group made up of remnants of the 1994 genocide. However, UN reports indicate that the FDLR is much weaker today. So is this truly about Rwanda's security or just a convenient justification for the military presence in Congo?
First of all, if it was a pretext, as the Congolese government likes to say, then they should get rid of it. Get rid of the pretext so that we do not have that security threat. Number two, the FDLR has been preserved in the DRC for the last 30 years. They are more powerful and more lethal now than ever before, precisely because the Congolese government has been financing them and arming them and has integrated the FDLR into the Congolese army. So this is what we are up against. The UN knows this very well. MONUSCO has been in the eastern DRC for more than almost 25 years now. They went there originally to neutralize these armed groups, including the FDLR, and they have failed miserably to do so. So maybe this is their pretext for their failure to pacify eastern DRC. And the result is that this area is more dangerous now for us and for the Congolese than it has ever been.
So the United States, France, United Nations have all pointed fingers at Rwanda. Are they all wrong?
Well, they have failed to understand what the real causes of the conflict are. If they had, this would have been solved a long time ago. The government of the DRC, I mean, actually, they should be compelling the government of the DRC to get rid of the FDLR, to dismantle that group, to remove it from its army, which is what the UN and all these other international community partners that have been involved here should have been doing in the first place. And then also ensure that the Congolese government does not continue to systematically persecute their own citizens. This is the community from which the M23 originates, the Congolese Tutsis who live in eastern DRC, who have also been decimated by the FDLR. So I think all these accusations against Rwanda are a distraction, and it just prolongs the conflict and just ensures that people continue to suffer and that this conflict is not resolved.
If the FDLR is such a threat, why is Rwanda seemingly more focused on M23's advances as opposed to working with regional forces to neutralize the FDLR?
We would love to do that. And we have done that in the past together actually together with the Congolese army. We have worked together to go after the FDLR in the DRC. The other countries in the region that are doing the same, Uganda is fighting the ADF ISIS-affiliated group in another province in DRC. We would want to collaborate with the government of DRC to neutralize this group, but the government of DRC is actually empowering them, is financing them, and is fighting alongside them to kill and persecute their own citizens. That's the communities from which the M23 come from. We're not focused on M23. The M23 is fighting their own fight. They're fighting for their own survival and their right to live on their land safely without being discriminated against and without being subjected to the ongoing ethnic cleansing. What we are interested in is keeping Rwandans safe and ensuring that our borders are not violated by the Congolese army or the FDLR or many of the other 200 plus militias that are roaming Eastern DRC. That is our interest in this conflict.
All right.
We've been asking for a political solution to this conflict for years, we intend to pursue this path because we know there's no military solution to this.
We've seen M23 grow stronger. They've taken key towns like Goma. They've downed a Congolese military military aircraft rather. And we've seen many analysts say that this would not be possible without external military support. Now, just recently, Yolanda, President Kagame visited Turkey. Then there was claims that Rwanda has received military supplies from Turkey, which have allegedly ended up in the hands of M23. Can you categorically deny that Rwanda has supplied any arms directly or indirectly to the M23 rebels?
Every country buys arms from many different countries, including the DRC, including Kenya. That's the right of every country to defend itself and build up its army. So there's no arguing about that. The number one supplier of weapons to the M23 is actually the Congolese army. With every battle that they fight with the M23 and lose, they abandon huge amounts of weaponry and equipment to the M23. So this is how the M23 has been able to accumulate a significant amount of weapons because they fight the government and they win these battles.
All right, so we have a heads of state meeting, an emergency heads of state meeting. We had EAC and SADC leaders meet before this meeting. What are we expecting from this meeting? What do you expect EAC to tell SADC especially?
Rwanda welcomes this joint summit. It's been a long time coming. It should actually have happened much earlier, when the DRC kicked out the East African Regional Force that was made up mostly of Kenyan troops. This was a peacekeeping force that was standing between the M23 and the DRC government, and that had allowed for a ceasefire and for political dialogue. President Tshisekedi kicked out the East African Regional Force and brought in the SADC force, which is an offensive force, because he wanted to pursue a military path. That has now disintegrated. It has failed. So we're happy that the joint summit is happening tomorrow. We look forward to this. We hope that the leaders of our regions will address very serious security concerns, including dismantling of the FDLR and ensuring that the Congolese Tutsi community is protected and that Congolese Tutsi refugees that are scattered on all of our region, including more than 100,000 in Rwanda, are able to safely return to their homes in Eastern DRC.
All right, and Yolanda, finally, we've seen recently that Rwanda's mineral exports, particularly in coltan and gold, have significantly increased. This despite the country not having large deposits of these minerals. Meanwhile, we've seen the M23 rebels taking over mining areas in DRC that are especially rich in coltan and gold. Can you categorically state that none of Rwanda's mineral exports originate from illegally mined Congolese resources?
I can categorically say that this accusation of mineral interests is displaced, It is displaced and it is insulting. The M23 is fighting for their lives. Rwanda is protecting our borders and ensuring that our people are safe. Rwanda has its own minerals, and we have a mining industry here that we're trying to grow and to do mining in a responsible way and ensure that this adds to our economy and benefits our people. We are not responsible for the dysfunction in the DRC economy. They have responsibility for that, and they should get organized and stop this rule by militia and ensure that the mineral wealth of the DRC actually benefits the citizens of the DRC.
Yolande, many thanks for your time tonight and for speaking to NTV. That is Yolande Makolo. She's the Rwanda government spokesperson speaking about Rwanda's involvement in the Eastern DRC crisis. That conversation bringing us to a break on NTV Weekend Edition. Do stay with us. Much more still to come.